the Jaguar fleet for many years. For a large part of his career, is joining us live on the show on This Is Exclusive. Here are the headlines tonight. Another Indian Air Force Jaguar fighter jet crashes at Rajasthan's Churu. Focus back on the CAG warnings on the Jaguar fleet. Last-minute negotiations underway as Kerala nurse Nimisha Priya is set to be executed on the 16th of July by Yemen. "23 Indian pilgrims stranded in Tibet cross over to Nepal. Immigration process underway." After MNS Shiv Sena MLA Sanjay Gaikwad now seen in a Slapgate episode, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra condemns the incident, says power cannot be misused. A tragic reminder on top of the show of the risks our brave airmen take in the line of duty. A twin-seater Jaguar fighter jet of the Indian Air Force this afternoon crashed in Rajasthan's Churu district during a routine training mission, killing both pilots on board. Now, one of them, in an extraordinary act of courage, reportedly chose not to eject, steering the jet away from a populated area to save civilian lives. Now, these are initial details that are coming in. But what is very important, ladies and gentlemen, this marks the third Jaguar crash in just 4 months. Once again putting the spotlight on the aging fleet that has been red flagged already.
A twin-seater Jaguar fighter jet of the Indian Air Force crashed in a field in Rajasthan's Churu district this afternoon. The aircraft, which had taken off from Suratgarh Air Base, was part of a routine training mission. The jet crashed during flight exercises, leading to a massive blaze at the impact site. Rescue teams arrived promptly, supported by IAF helicopters airlifted for the mission. Despite the immediate response, both pilots on board the aircraft tragically lost their lives. Officials have revealed that one of the pilots deliberately chose not to eject, hoping instead to steer the failing jet away from a densely populated area, likely preventing a larger tragedy.
जो जनप्रतिनिधि है वो यहाँ पहुंचे हैं, इसके अलावा ग्रामीण हैं, उनकी भीड़ लग गई है। मैं यहाँ दिखाना चाहूंगा कि ये जो गड्ढा है, यहाँ पर प्लेन क्रैश हुआ था, वो जो जेट है वो क्रैश हुआ है यहाँ पर, और जो पायलट है उनकी सूझबूझ से ये बड़ा हादसा टल गया, वरना ये अगर गांव में गिरता तो बड़ा हादसा हो सकता था, लेकिन पायलट की सूझबूझ से उन्होंने दूर गांव से दूर एक खेत के अंदर इसको क्रैश करवाया।
The Indian Air Force confirmed the crash in an official statement, adding that no civilian property was damaged.
प्लेन क्रैश होने के बाद एकदम धुआं गोवा कोई गंदित रहा, और उसमें जो भी मतलब पायलट साहब जो आता ओन एक्सपायर हो गए, उनकी जो बॉडी के पार्ट्स मिले अलग अलग मिले हैं, वैसे बयान उपलब्ध भी कराया दिया भी है धंधों में, और एक एयरफोर्स की डायरी भी मिली, साथ में एक एयरफोर्स की डायरी भी मिली थी, वो एयरफोर्स की डायरी हमने SHO राजेंद्र कमल जी को दे दिया।
The crash in Churu marks the third Jaguar crash in just 4 months. In March, a Jaguar went down near Panchkula in Haryana, where the pilot ejected safely. While in April, another crash occurred during a night sortie over Gujarat, claiming the life of one pilot. As investigations continue, this latest incident raises growing concerns over the aging Jaguar fleet and operational safety.
First up on the crash in Churu, Rajasthan, I have some breaking details that are coming in. Of course, there is a court of inquiry that has been ordered by the Indian Air Force, but I have some breaking details. Now, these are not official source-based details that we have. that the aircraft, the Jaguar jet, was fitted with a 00, what is called a 00 ejection seat, which means that the pilot and the co-pilot could have ejected at 0 speed, 0 elevation, and the fact that both pilots perished in this crash points to perhaps a catastrophic technical failure. Ishan, my colleague, has more details on that. I'll quickly get in a word from Ishan before we go across to our expert this evening. Ishan, what does this mean? 00 ejection seats, and looking at what we know, of course, we'll wait for the court of inquiry, but what are the initial details you're picking up?
The 00 ejection seat is a system developed by mostly Western air forces. This has a rocket-enabled ejection seat which can help the pilot eject at 0 speed and 0 altitude, thereby enabling our pilots and enhancing safety for the pilots. However, the non-ejection of the pilots in this case shows the bravery, and the decision, as reported, shows that they chose to pay the supreme sacrifice and save the civilians. Furthermore, we have learned that the aircraft was doing a low altitude training mission. These are routine missions for this aircraft, and they are part of the training of the new inductees in the airport.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us with those inputs, Ishan. Now, I want to once again point out to what Republic TV had reported a few months back in April this year, and to speak about the 2017 CAG report, and especially the concern around the Jaguar fleet. I have with me this evening Air Commodore Ashminder Singh Behel, who's a former Jaguar pilot, and he's an air safety expert, a gallantry awardee as well, someone who spent a lot of time inside the cockpit of the Jaguar. Thank you, Air Commodore, for joining us on the broadcast. You know these birds very, very well. You know these jets well. It's been red flagged for many, many years. What is the problem in replacing the Jaguar fleet? Where are the concerns according to you?
The first thing that I want to say, it's very tragic that we have lost two brave pilots who tried to save the people who were below on the ground. And it is the primary responsibility of all pilots in the Indian Air Force to make sure that our brethren below do not get hurt by our aircraft accidents as far as possible. Secondly, I want to highlight that this aircraft was procured in 1979. And in 1980, its license production started in HAL. So it's been about 45 years since the first batch of aircraft had come in. So even if we look at that batch not being the key batch, we still say that these aircraft have been around for a period of 30 to 40 years, depending on when they were inducted. So the most important point is that the aircraft are getting old, and they were expected to be phased from 2027 to 28, but are getting delayed primarily because we do not have sufficient squadrons of fighter aircraft. Currently, we have 30 squadrons, which includes about 13 squadrons of Sukhoi 30, 2 squadrons of Rafale, 2 squadrons of LCA, and then we have close to 12 squadrons, 6 squadrons of Jaguar, 3 squadrons of Mirages, 3 squadrons of MiG-29. These 12 squadrons are fairly old and are completing their life of between 35 to 40 years, which means the structural fatigue sets in when these aircraft grow old. So we had put in this request to the government around 15 years back, when the process for procuring Rafale had started. In the end, we were able to take off the shelf 36 aircraft. Had we taken 126 at that time, we wouldn't have faced the problem that we are facing today, that we are retiring the aircraft, but we do not have any in line to take their place, which means that our squadron strength from the sanctioned 42 squadrons has already dropped to 30 squadrons and is continuing to drop as we retire these aircraft in the coming years. And yet, when we know that our operational strength required is a certain X number, we want that these aircraft should continue to run as far as possible whilst flying safely. And at the same time, we intend that once the LCA start coming in, we fill in the gap with 114 aircraft, MRFA aircraft, And there is also a proposal to get 2 squadrons or so of Su-57 aircraft or the F-35, and that could fill in short gap arrangements. So these proposals are going around on media. I'm sure that the government must be taking this very seriously, and also the Defense Secretary must be taking this very seriously, that these aircraft are growing old, the pilots are at risk. It is not that the aircraft are not flyworthy. It is not that the aircraft are not safe, but the problem is the machine is getting old. There is a fatigue factor setting in the airframe and engines. The engines are usually underpowered of Rolls-Royce Adore Mark 811, and they have been creating problems both because they are underpowered, and secondly, there have been instances with the engines too in the past. Therefore, it is extremely necessary that though there is a plan to get the Mark 1As in, and there was a delay because of the engines not coming GE404 from America and the integration of Astra that is going to be done in August this year. But we are not going to get 6 LCA aircraft Mark 1A by March 2026 and 16 by March 2027.
Well, very, very detailed, take on why the Jaguar fleet continues to ail the Indian Air Force. Thank you, Air Commodore Behel, for joining us on the show this evening. Now, talking about the 2017 CAG report that we broke details of on Republic TV, these are some of the warnings that were given. The CAG Jaguar warning spoke about the autopilot installation delay, specifically mentioned in 2017. The audit reports pointed out at delays in the autopilot procurement and installation, especially on the Jaguar fleet. It also mentioned the impact of the reduced operational efficiency of the Jaguar fleet, 100 plus in number. The report also pointed at inadequate upkeep of the IL series aircrafts mirrored in the Jaguar fleet challenges. Now, these are some of the details of the report that came out in 2017. Non-functional. Now, these are some more details of what that report red flagged. Non-functional under-vehicle scanning system in place, which compromised base security. It spoke of different details that needed to be addressed immediately. And this was in 2017. We are in 2025. And just in the last 4 months, we've had 3 crashes. Let's look at the next graphic that talks about all the red flags for the Indian Air Force when it came to the CAG's Jaguar warning. There were specifically a few points that were highlighted. Point number 1, the aging airframe that Air Commodore Behel just spoke about on This Is Exclusive, saying that they've been in service for over 40 years, nearly 45 years. Spoke of structural fatigue, limiting further upgrades of the Jaguar. HAL has many questions to answer on this one, and we've been speaking about it in the last few months. Underpowered engines of the Jaguar also red flagged in the CAG report. Reduced payload and performance was highlighted in the 2017 report as well. Now that the court of inquiry has been ordered on the latest crash in Churu, Rajasthan, let's wait for that investigation and for the details to come in now. And on to the next big story on This Is Exclusive. She's an Indian nurse who moved to Yemen in the year 2008. She's now facing execution for the murder of her partner, nurse Nimisha Priya from India, currently in a prison in Yemen. Some reports suggesting that the prison where she's being held is controlled by the Houthi rebels. Days away from execution, July 16 is the date set. And she could be convicted, and she was convicted. She will be executed in a few days from now for a murder that took place in 2017 involving a Yemeni national. Here's a conversation with a negotiator who spoke to Republic TV a few minutes back.
An Indian nurse, Nimisha Priya, who is on a death row in Yemen, is set to be executed on 16th of July. Today, we are being joined by Nimisha Priya's negotiator in Yemen, Samuel Jerome, to understand what lies ahead for her. Thank you, Mr. Jerome, for speaking to us. First, we would like to begin with understanding, has there been any form of communication from the Indian government or any indication of intervention from the Indian side?
the government of India has been a very reliable partner since the beginning. And I have to go back in 2017, where General VK, when I raised up this case to General VK Singh, who was then the Minister of State for External Affairs, he immediately on the same day he intervened and he wrote a note verbal to the Alauti government asking them to bring Nimisha to the due legal process, and that is why she is alive until today. So that you have to understand that very clearly. And since then, the government of India, though they don't have an official, a diplomatic or consular relationship with the Alautis, they are doing their best. So I'm in continuous. The Embassy of India in Saudi Arabia is in continuous touch with me. They have provided, whenever, when and wherever, whatever is required, they have done. But at this point of time, I'm putting a request to the government, having clearly known, I'm also a volunteer there, so I know exactly the difficulties there, and I'm putting a request to the government, a very humble request, that if there could be a direct intervention through the government of India, this can be a win situation. So for the sake of life of Nimisha, I'm pleading with the government of India, if they can, please, if they can, that is one thing that it is very difficult for them to do because of the Al-Houthi and the Yemen, the Indian situation. I know that. But then there is a life at stake. And so at this juncture, I have to put this request to the government of India.
Okay. Mr. Jerome, can you please help us understand, are you exploring any other legal or local channel to say prevent or for that matter even delay Nimisha Priya's execution?
So, as you rightly said, the first and foremost thing is to either is to delay or stop the execution. That is the, so before, I was in India for 3 months. I rushed back to Yemen yesterday. I landed here yesterday. So, day before yesterday, I got a call from the chairman of the prison, and he told me that he has received the order from the public prosecutor's office. So, then I called, as you know, the Embassy of India does not have an embassy here in Yemen, but the local staff are still there. So I did call them and I asked them to check the authenticity of this call, and they checked and they found out yes, it was true. Then I immediately informed the Embassy of India in Saudi Arabia, who are actually taking care of Yemen now. So they again called the local staff. The local staff went to the prison and checked on the things, and they have confirmed everything is true. So this is what it is right now. Now, how do we move forward? What has happened since I came yesterday? There are a lot of Yemenis who are willing to help. So what kind of help? See, previously, before I went to India, I was in India for 3 months. So before I went to India, I've met the brother, I've met the father, I've met the brother twice. And there have been several meetings with the intermediaries through sheikhs and all those things. The meeting with the family is to request forgiveness. So there is no money, no discussion can happen there. That is how it is. It's very sensitive. So I did. I did plead for this case, and I asked forgiveness for Nimisha. On the sidelines, I had given an offer. This is not with Save Nimisha Priya committee or anything. This is a gentleman from Kerala who has promised to raise $1 million. So based on that promise, I had given an offer of $1 million. Then there was also it was given as a package. So the second thing is a sort of medical support. A doctor, a cerebrospinal surgeon in India, he says that he can do 5 surgeries absolutely free. Not the surgery is free. He can take the patient he'll pay for even the flight ticket for the patient to fly to India. He will perform the surgeries and rehabilitate them. So that was part of the offer. Number 3 was the option of the brother of the victim to migrate to UAE or to Saudi Arabia. Will provide jobs and whatever required. So these are the 3 things that was given as a package. But then you have to understand that we have not heard from them. Now that we have received the execution order, which means that they have already consented to the execution. Without the family consenting to the execution, this order will not be issued. So that is where we stand right now. So how do we move forward? Now we have to find people who can make sense to the family. So that is what is happening since yesterday. I've been contacted by several people, and I'm trying to find whoever is genuine. And because I'm right now in Aden, so I'll be moving to Sana tomorrow, and so I'll be physically meeting these people and to see who are genuine, who are not. What are the genuine help available, and I'll take the route. I'll take the route, and then that is how I will see. So primarily, it is the legal portion is completely finished, so there is nothing legal available. The legal thing is closed when the president of North Yemen.
We're cutting that interview short because we're receiving some breaking news on the India-US trade deal. We were expecting some announcement. Trump has made some comments on a possible trade deal, talking about 10% tariffs added for BRICS countries, but this is a big breaking news update. Government sources now talking about possibilities, saying that there are certain challenges that are obstructing the trade deal. Certain challenges obstructing the trade deal, and that there are certain steps that need to be followed. Among the 7 letters to be sent by Trump today, one could be likely for India. India's national interest is the priority. Very unlikely for the deal to happen today. Now, these are details we're picking up. Challenges obstructing the India-US trade deal is what government sources are confirming, that there are certain challenges that remain in ironing out the contours of the India-America trade deal, and that there are certain steps that still need to be followed. And that among the 7 letters that will be sent by Trump today, the likelihood is that one could be for India, and that India's national interest will be our priority. And government sources confirming that it's very unlikely for the deal to happen or to be announced today. Now, these are details we are picking up. We've had announcements being made by America ahead of the deadline for different countries. The tariffs are being announced one day at a time, one country at a time. And as we hoped for negotiators, and Indian negotiators have been traveling to America, this exercise has been ongoing for several months now. And the team returned last week, and the sources in the government, and there's some of the negotiators, by the way, included top secretaries in the Commerce Ministry and government sources, now telling Republic that there are certain challenges that remain obstructing the trade deal. I have Chandrakala on the phone line. Chandrakala is joining us for more details. Chandrakala, what are these challenges that you're hearing of?
Well, the fact that speculation is rife regarding the India-US trade deal, that when it is going to be likely to be signed, well, government sources have just confirmed that there are certain challenges that is obstructing the trade deal. Otherwise, the trade deal could have been finalized, and there are certain steps that need to be followed. And most importantly, the 7 letters that Trump is going to send today to maximum of 7 countries. Among them, one could be likely for India, but also sources have said that, of course, India's stand is very much clear that national interest is the priority, and it's very unlikely, it's very uncertain right now where the deal has reached, whether it could be today or it could be extended. This has been confirmed by the sources, but yes, national interest is the only priority for us right now. And there are certain challenges that is actually obstructing this trade deal. And the important thing is to note that we have to wait for the letters to be sent to Trump, because this has been confirmed that one could be likely for India. Over to you.
Thank you for joining us with those inputs. That's it on this edition of This is Exclusive. Thanks for watching.
At Amity, we are committed to building a stronger India through world-class education and research to nurture ideal citizens who, together with the leaders of today and tomorrow, will make India a world superpower. Amity University, India's leading not-for-profit private university.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी। अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड में मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला।
Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar.
Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IAF.
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
Season of Gundaism peaks in Mumbai. From the streets to MLA canteen, no one is safe. How long will Gundaism rule Mumbai? Debating tonight at 8 p.m.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
From your smartphones
comes to your smart televisions, trending stories are breaking the internet, and this evening we'll get you the visuals of how the red carpet was rolled out for the Prime Minister Modi in Namibia. Drums, dance and Surya Namaskar all at play, and we'll show you those visuals. Donald Trump has hit out at Russian president after dropping the F-bomb last month. He has dropped the B-bomb now. Now up next, shocking video of Shiv Sena MLA that has rattled the state of Maharashtra, and finally, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla turns farmer in the space, conducting science experiments on moong dal, and this is the trending story that we're tracking for you. I'm Akanksha Khajuria. Let's get started. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Namibia on the final leg of his 5-nation visit, and this is Prime Minister's first visit to the African nation and third by any Prime Minister of the country. Watch how Namibia rolled out the red carpet and gave him a welcome to remember.
के संबंधों को एक नई ऊंचाई
Well, Prime Minister did not just watch, he joined in with a wide smile on his face. He picked up the drumsticks and matched the beats. He watched closely as the dancers of Namibia performed around him, a traditional welcome full of rhythm and pride there on your screens. And yoga has become truly global as native of Namibia performed Surya Namaskar for the Prime Minister as he watched them and even clapped for them. Have a look at this video. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Namibia on the final leg of his 5-nation visit. As you can see in the visuals, as he met with the Indian diaspora there was echo of Modi, Modi chants. Have a look. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi received the highest civilian honor of Namibia. Have a look at the visuals.
बिलिस से सम्मानित किया जाना मेरे लिए अत्यंत गर्व और सम्मान की बात है। मैं राष्ट्रपति जी का, नामीबिया की सरकार और नामीबिया के लोगों का हृदय से आभार प्रकट करता हूं। मैं इस सम्मान को 140 करोड़ भारतीयों की ओर से विनम्रता के साथ स्वीकार करता हूं।
And let's now take you to the space. In the final leg of the space mission, Indian astronaut group captain Shubhanshu Shukla has turned into a farmer, taking photos of moong and methi seeds sprouting in petri dishes and inserting them into a storage freezer on the International Space Station. The visuals are on your screen, and this is a part of a study how microgravity influences germination and early plant development. Now, the Indian astronaut and his EXIM 4 teammates have already spent 12 days on the International Space Station, and they are expected to return to Earth after July 10th. Have a look at those visuals, in fact, that are coming in. Shubhanshu Shukla has turned into a farmer. Several science experiments are being done on the space. Even different countries are doing it, and India is also doing several such experiments there, which also includes these experiments on moong dal and methi, the photos of which have now come to the fore. Well, there in the visuals, you can see Shubhanshu Shukla along with 3 other astronauts are there in the space where several experiments are being carried out, and now only 1 day is left before they will be down to the Earth. Let me go across to former ISRO scientist Dr. Guru Prasad. Thank you so much for speaking to Republic TV. So I want to come to you and ask you, how do you look at these science experiments that are being carried out? There are experiments on moong dal, methi as well. How important will they be in future course of action, and how important they will be for the future of science as well?
Yeah, namaskar, good evening. And it is extremely satisfying that as it is apparent, the experiments are going very well. And look at the beaming face of Shubhanshu Shukla. And today the picture is released, and you can see him. In fact, one of the experiments which was scheduled was the sprouting of moong dal, as well as the other experiment was something related to microalgae. And sprouting of moong dal as well as methi, they are the prominent foodstuffs in India. In fact, now the sprouting, he has seen it and he has stored it, and all these things will be brought back. And University of Dharwad people in Dharwad, 2 institutions are going to grow them over different generations and check them as to how they behave in space. This has an implication from the point of view of examining as to how foodstuffs, when they are taken to space, what are the changes genetically that takes place. In addition to that, other aspects also will be studied. So this augurs extremely well for that. And the other experiment which he has done is related to microalgae. Microalgae, they are very resilient, and they can in future they can become foodstuffs as well as biofuels, and even to generate oxygen they can be used. That is what researchers who have an expertise in this, they say, in fact. So that experiment also is being done. And the third thing is, Shubhanshu Shukla is involved in stem cell research related experiments also. So as he himself has told, he is acting as a link between the International Space Station as well as the researchers. The fact that such experiments, precisely they have been designed and using the intellect which is homegrown in India, it is very extremely satisfying, and it is an indication of Atmanirbharata, no doubt about it. And it must augur very well for the future of human space flight.
Absolutely, sir. And we are learning that in just few hours, in fact, on July 10th, Shubhanshu Shukla, along with the other astronauts, will be back to the Earth, and these experiments will be over. So tell us, how important will this be for the future missions as well as far as the upcoming India's space mission is concerned? How crucial will that be?
Yeah, no doubt about it. They are very important for the future also. Now it is a beginning, in the sense at this many experiments were designed by India. 7 experiments were designed within India, and they were sent to the International Space Station. So those experiments are performed by Shubhanshu Shukla as per the specifications, as per the procedures established by the researchers. Now they will be brought back, okay, and they are carefully examined. and it will take quite a bit of time for the researchers to find out what are the results. And this experience, it goes a long way in designing much more capable and much more complex experiments in our Gaganyaan program only. All these things, they're very important for the long-term space flight. The thing is, in long term, when you go to the other worlds, okay, let us say these are not tomorrow or day after tomorrow, but in the future, when you are taking long distance space flights, in fact, on long journeys to the other planet, let us say Mars even, okay, or even much further, you have to grow your own food. You cannot take everything from the earth. If you have a closed ecosystem and grow your food and manage it, that would be very well. And this is a very good beginning as far as this aspect is concerned, because one is space agriculture, the other one is how diseases can be fought in space, and the third thing is more research oriented things in cognitive science also. So these are very important. It is very extremely satisfying that things are able to be done by Shubhanshu Shukla, and once they are brought back only, we will be able to know how things have gone. And I am confident about it. Okay?
Absolutely, sir. Very different science experiments being carried out there. They will be very crucial for the future as well. Thank you so much, Doctor, for speaking to Republic TV.
Thank you.
Let's now take you to the state of Maharashtra. Caught on camera is the Shiv Sena MLA who thrashed a canteen worker over a plate of dal. With a white towel wrapped around his waist, he slapped, kicked and punched the worker so hard that he fell on the ground. He then defended it by saying that this is Shiv Sena style. No remorse, no apology. Watch the shocking video first. And his own party did not spare him. Eknath Shinde and in fact said that beating people is not right at all. Listen into what he said.
तर त्याला स्वतःच अनुभव आला आणि जेवल्यानंतर त्यांना जेवताना त्याला वांती आली, उलटी झाली, उलटी हो गया वोमिट, तो वॉमिटिंग हो गया और इसलिए उन्होंने गुस्से में आकर वो मारपीट की। उसका मैं समर्थन नहीं करूँगा और हम लोक प्रतिनिधि है, विधायक है, तो हमारी जिम्मेदारी है कानूनी कार्रवाई के लिए हमारे पास अधिकार है। तो अगर जिधर गलत होता है उसके ऊपर कानूनी कार्रवाई हो सकती है, लेकिन मारपीट करना ये उचित नहीं है।
In fact, a few kilometers from that, another MNS workers went on a rampage. They vandalized a toll booth in Wasim. A video of destruction has gone viral on social media, and in fact, it shows a couple of workers breaking the glass panes of toll booths using rods. Well, there on the screen, you can see those are the MNS workers there on the rampage just outside Maharashtra. There you can see they are breaking the window panes of that toll plaza with the rods in their hand. And this is what we've been witnessing in the state of Maharashtra in the last 1 week. Another video that has come to the fore where these workers have taken law into their own hand. Now look at another video from Maharashtra. It captures a heated roadside argument between two migrant workers that quickly turned into a Hindi versus Marathi issue. The rickshaw driver was heard saying, and I quote, "I will only speak in Hindi." Watch this. Hot off the plate and straight to your screens, these are the top trending stories of the day. Trinidad and Tobago has made history by becoming the first Caribbean country to adopt India's Unified Payments Interface or UPI for digital payments, and this was announced during Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the country. With this partnership, the country has enabled transaction through India's Bheem app, making it the 8th country in the world to adopt UPI-based payments. Former UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is all set to rejoin Goldman Sachs as the senior advisor, bringing his expertise in geopolitics and economics to the firm's clients as well. In fact, he has served as Prime Minister from October 2022 to July 2024 and will be working with the leaders across New York-based Goldman Sachs to advise clients globally on the range of topics. Barbie just got a little more relatable and a lot more real. Mattel has now announced that its very first Barbie doll with type 1 diabetes, complete with a glucose monitor, insulin pump and even a small purse for snacks. A devastating landslide struck a village in Mandi district of Himachal Pradesh on June 26, but thanks to a loyal pet, a dog, keen senses, 63 people lives were saved. In fact, the dog's unusual barking and howling alerted its owner Lalit Kumar to the danger, prompting him to rush his family and nearby villagers to safety. Texas governor took an aerial tour of the devastated areas in Kerr County, witnessing firsthand the damage caused by the flash floods there. The floods have claimed 109 lives so far, with the county alone accounting for 94 deaths, including many children. Vedika Prakash Shetty, Alia Bhatt's former personal assistant, has now been arrested for duping the actor for a staggering 76 lakh rupees. Shetty, who worked with Bhatt from 2021 to 2024, is accused of forging Bhatt's signature and embezzling funds from both her personal accounts and the production houses. Sabir Khan is all set to become Apple's next Chief Operating Officer COO. Born in India and raised in Singapore, he's been with Apple since 1995. Vatsala, the world's longest living elephant, passed away at the age of 100 at Panna Tiger Reserve in Madhya Pradesh. A true gentle giant who saw generations grow around her. Forest officials bid her emotional farewell. Her life was a rare blend of grace, strength and charm. A viral video has surfaced online where you can see a man tearing apart a month-old road just by using his hands. This was seen in Nanded in Maharashtra, and this man does it very effortlessly, as you can see on the screen, exposing loose stone underneath. Now, after dropping the F-bomb on Iran and Israel last month, US President Donald Trump has this time dropped the B-bomb, and this time on Russian president, holding him responsible for the deaths of his own soldiers and pledged to resume United States military aid to Ukraine. Watch this.
We get a lot of thrown at us by Putin, for you want to know the truth. He's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless.
Do you want to sanction him? Lindsey Graham has a sanctions bill on Russia. Do you want him to vote?
I'm looking at it, yeah, no, I'm looking. The Senate is passed a very, very tough sanctions, but yeah, I'm looking at it.
And during a meeting, Donald Trump appeared visibly irritated when questioned about Jeffrey Epstein. He said, and I quote, "I cannot believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this when we are having some of the greatest successes in the country." Watch this.
Still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration.
And now look at this. President Donald Trump has once again repeated his assertion that he and his team played a crucial role in halting the conflict between India and Pakistan. Have a look at what he said.
On the issue of the fact that
President Trump has been nominated now twice, certainly by the latest by Prime Minister Netanyahu regarding our work for peace regarding Iran and Israel. We'll see. I think the president has made it clear that he doesn't expect ever to win something of that sort, and yet the issue for him, the prize, is his success. The prize is the end result, and humanity will be the deciders and the judgment of the nature of what he has contributed with his life. I think that, frankly, in my opinion, transcends the Nobel Peace Prize.
Just going through a list here, Mr. President, and I think the Vice President's pointed out to the great team you have, and all these achievements that have happened domestically. But you think about it, under your leadership, we prevented and ended a war between India and Pakistan. NATO's now at 5% for the first time ever, the highest numbers ever. A peace deal between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. A 12-day war that ended with an American operation that we're the only country in the world that could have done. Hopefully, pretty soon, a peace deal between Azerbaijan and Armenia. The entire Middle East and the infrastructure of it has the potential now to change because of Syria and Lebanon, and it hasn't even been 6 months. It hasn't even been 6 months. So it's a great testament to your leadership in this.
And Donald Trump, who remember once dismissed Musk's new party and called the idea ridiculous, has now said that Musk's new party would benefit him. Watch what he said.
No, I think it'll help us. It'll probably help. Third parties have always been good for me. I don't know about Republicans, but for me. No, I think it'll help us. It'll probably help. Third parties have always been good for me. I don't know about Republicans, but for me.
And during the meeting, Donald Trump issued a warning to BRICS nations, declaring that a 10% tariff would be imposed on them. He further stated that any country planning to join BRICS would also face the same 10% tariff penalty. Fast, zippy, and exactly how they should be. Viewers, here are the fast trends of the day. The drama unfolded in Patna in Bihar as Kanhaiya Kumar was denied access to Rahul Gandhi during Tejasvi Yatra event. The former JNU leader was seen attempting to approach the Congress MP but was stopped by the security guards there. As you can see on the screen, the snub has set off fresh speculations about internal rift in the Indie bloc. K-pop sensation Jackson Wang lit up the great Indian couple Sharma show with an impromptu dance that left everyone stunned. Actor Jaydev Alawat dubbed this high-voltage performance Garba in jest. The clip has gone viral on social media, with fans loving the East meets West energy on the stage. An impersonator used an AI-generated deepfake tech to pose as US Senator Marco Rubio and contacted the foreign minister. The alarming breach has raised serious concern about the AI misuse in diplomacy. Authorities are now investigating the extent of this deception. And Elon Musk is all set to launch Grok 4, the latest version of his AI chatbot under XAI. And this will have faster responses, sharper wit, and it aims to take on the Chat GPT and Gemini. And this rollout is expected in phases across X. In a bold move, Emirates has announced that it will now accept Bitcoin for flight bookings starting tomorrow morning as per IST. The airline aims to attract crypto-savvy travelers and stay ahead in the digital innovation as well. This marks a major step in the aviation industry. An attack by Yemen's Houthi rebels on Liberian flagged cargo ship in the Red Sea killed 3 mariners and wounded 2 others. This is one among many attacks that Houthis have been carrying out in the Red Sea region since October 7th. For you in this show of Trending. We'll be back tomorrow with more such stories. Till then, keep watching Republic TV. Coming up next is the debate with Arnab Goswami.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
At Amity, we are committed to building a stronger India through world-class education and research to nurture ideal citizens who, together with the leaders of today and tomorrow, will make India a world superpower. Amity University, India's leading not-for-profit private university.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ, डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड में मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
MDH की देगी मीरज,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मीरज।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
MDH।
Two, including the pilot, have been reporting dead in a Churu's fighter jet crash. Court of inquiry has been ordered in Jaguar fighter jet crash in Churu in Rajasthan. This is the third Jaguar crash since March 2025. No relief to Rana Ayub. Tribunal dismisses Ayub's plea in money laundering case.
कानूनी कार्रवाई के लिए हमारे पास अधिकार है, तो अगर डिसीजन गलत होता है तो उसके ऊपर कानूनी कार्रवाई हो सकती है, लेकिन मारपीट करना ये उचित नहीं।
Eknath Shinde responded to Sena MLA Slapgate, says we have the right to take legal action, but beating someone is not right.
राष्ट्र विरोधी और समाज विरोधी तत्वों को भी चकनाचूर करके रहेंगे और धरती माता के स्वास्थ्य की रक्षा भी करेंगे, मां की स्मृतियों को भी जीवंत बनाएंगे।
Chief Minister Yogi warns mastermind of UP conversion racket, says every anti-India element will be crushed. Fresh order from the Delhi government, fuel ban for overage vehicles in Delhi NCR from November 1, 2025.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime, रहो बेफिक्र।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ, डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड में मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar. Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IAF.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
Yogi government's biggest bulldozer action till date. UP government dismantles biggest conversion racket. Political links to Changur Baba's racket debating tonight at 8:30 p.m.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
On the debate tonight, Gundaism becomes the new political style statement in Maharashtra. At 8:30 p.m. tonight, 100 crore conversion racket, 70-room mansion, and yogis breaking it all apart.